Tantra Speed Dating. First of all, what is Tantra? And what does it have to do with speed dating? I dive into that in this episode.
Welcome to the Healthy Love Healing Podcast, where we dive into topics pertaining to emotional intelligence, communication, and inner healing. We discuss how unlearning outdated programming can help you cultivate healthy connections in your life, because you are worthy of healthy love. You are worthy of healthy love.
Hey, lovers! Before I dive into this juicy topic, I invite you to reflect upon what was one act of healthy love you experienced in the last week. And also, before I dive into today's episode, I want to share vulnerably. The last episode was really hard for me to release. I felt very conflicted because I'm like, I feel so strongly about this. I have to talk about it. It has been like heavy on my heart, my mind. And I also was scared to ruffle feathers. And I also was like, okay, if a guy ever listens to this, he's never going to date me. So there goes my dating life. I'm like, I'm sharing my Instagram with men and they go to my profile and they see the image that says, is he a misogynist? They're probably like, nope, nope, next swipe. However, I am so grounded in who I truly am. And if a man is bothered by that episode, maybe he has some shadows of misogyny that, might be a good thing for him to look at, but nothing in that episode is bashing men. And my lived experience is I have a wellness studio where women are coming in and doing the work. They're leaning in, they're healing their trauma, they're looking at their childhood wounds, they're stepping into their power and their courage and their self-love and their self-worth. I'm witnessing women doing the work. 98% of my clientele are women. So it's what I see. I see women doing the work and I see them dragging their partners along to sessions. So that's just my lived experience. I know that men are doing the work. I know that there are men out there that stand for women. I know that there are men out there that want to be healthy, divine masculine. So my intention is never to ruffle feathers, but I know that people can make snap judgments and judge a book by their cover. It happens every single day. So, really, if someone judges me by a first glance at my social, that's on them. So, I just wanted to say that it was really hard. I recorded that episode weeks ago and it sat for a couple weeks before I worked up the courage to edit it. And then, even upon editing it, releasing it was like, ugh, like, it was a little hard for me, if I'm being honest. But one thing that I heard someone say, I want to say that Brene Brown said this, and I love Brene Brown. Leaders are never quiet about important things. Leaders are never quiet about important things. And the work that I do, embodiment, helping women feel safe in their body, regulate their nervous system after years and decades of abuse, whether emotional abuse or physical abuse, and everything that's coming out about women being trafficked and women being abused, and just, I mean, the list goes on. It was time to speak up about that topic. It was time to speak up about the abuse that women have endured. And sometimes women don't even know that they have been abused, because narcissistic abuse, sometimes women feel like it's them. The manipulation and the gaslighting can make women feel like, I'm the crazy one. Oh, I'm dramatic and I have to stay with him because no one else is going to deal with me. So there's so much happening behind closed doors. And I am the one to address the elephant in the room. And I know my person is going to love that about me, love that I stand for the things that I believe in, love that I stand for people and I stand for love. Like, me talking about these topics is not to bash anyone, it's to say, hey, we can heal from this. If we do the work, the feminine, the masculine, and the non binary, if we do our work, we can be in divine union. We could have that healthy love that we all desire, and we deserve that. We're worthy of that. So I think the people that know your heart and the people that feel you and resonate with your message, they're going to get it. And the people who don't, they're not my people. Simple as that. Moving on. Moving on. So I just was feeling a little spicy and I decided to sign up for this Tantra Speed Dating event. And I've mentioned it to a couple of people and they're like, what's Tantra? So usually I have my notes and I read off specific definitions to make sure I get things right. But what I want to do, I don't have any notes today. What I want to do is explain my understanding of Tantra, because I think people will see this event and people who have studied Tantra will have their understanding of it. But I want to answer it as if I was just telling a random person and they're like, what's Tantra? Right? I don't want to read you an actual definition. My personal understanding of it, and if you've studied Tantra, don't come for me, okay? This is just my interpretation of it. So, Tantra is an ancient practice that helps us connect back to ourselves, connect to our bodies, connect to our breath deeper. And then when we connect to our own bodies, we can connect to our partner's bodies through breath, through presence, through I shouldn't say stillness, but like complete presence, being present with the person that you are connecting with, which in today's day and age, we're not present. We're not present in our bodies. We're disconnected, dissociated. So, really getting into our body, being fully present with the person that we're connecting with, and slowing down, slowing down. I think there's so much like bam, 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 go, go, go. Like, we live in a hustle culture. And then if men have any type of programming from porn, it's like bam, 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 right? That's not, how do I put this? Slowing down and really being present, really being in tune with your own body, your own sensations, and then being in tune with your partner's sensation. And the thing that I like about the principles behind it is there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of consent, there's a lot of respect and autonomy and sovereignty. So I like the idea of Tantra. Now, you can Google it and you may see sex positions, you may see all different types of things, but at the core of it, it's about connection to our own bodies, connection to our partner's bodies. Again, if you've studied Tantra, don't come for me. It's not an official definition. This is my understanding of it. So I went to a singles mixer and it was not that great. We're just gonna name it. It was not that great previous to the Tantra one. So people showed up, there wasn't really any instruction. They went to the bar, they're drinking, and people are standing around the bar, and you have to pay for this event. And I'm like, if I'm just gonna go to the bar and have a drink, like, why pay for that? I can do that at any bar, right? And then also, for me personally, and don't get me wrong, I drink wine. I love good wine and pairing it with food, but I'm not a drinker where I have to drink to have a conversation, or I feel pressure to drink in social settings like that. And if I'm meeting someone, I want to have a conscious conversation with you without alcohol. I don't need any liquid courage. And I'm not knocking anyone who does. I'm just saying for me personally. So at that specific event, I did not drink because I'm like, I want to connect with people. I want to I want to be fully aware of everything and the sensations in my body too. So I did a podcast episode with a matchmaker a while ago, and she said, notice how your body reacts on a date. And I was like, that's so funny. Here's some growth and embodiment. I used to survey the other person, how they felt, what energy they were giving off, what vibe they were putting off. And I switched that. And now I notice how my body feels. I notice how my posture, like when we want to close up, when we want to guard ourselves from people, we tend to do like a movement, because I know some people are listening and not watching. So I'll verbalize it instead of physically doing it. When we cross our arms, when we put one hand over our bodies, when we're hunched over, these are all body language indications that it's a defense mechanism to protect the heart. So the somatic work that I do, I study body language, and what I started noticing is how my body reacted, how my nervous system reacted, what I felt like doing, what my body naturally was doing on a date. And I pay more attention to that now than how they are. So flipping that little switch has made a huge difference now. And even when, you're getting to know someone and maybe you hug them, maybe you kiss them, like, how does that feel in my body? Do I feel turned on, or do I feel like closing up? Like, now my attention is more on the sensations happening in my body rather than being hyper vigilant, surveying their body language, their energy. So that little switch has been a game changer for me. But anyway, I was at this event and everyone's around the bar drinking, and just, it was like no instruction, no guidance, no nothing. And I'm like, why pay for this? Just go to a good restaurant and sit at the bar and have the same experience. And there was like a little card game, but there was no substance to it. It was like, okay, here's a card, like a playing card, and you know, see if you can gather enough numbers to equal 21. I think they did have some questions, but they were like really basic. So there's a lot of card game, like deepen the conversation, deepen the connection card games that are really good. But this one felt really basic. And I was just like, meh, I won't go to this event anymore. But I'm always open to experiences. I'm such a people person. I love going out. I love trying new things. So when this Tantra one came up, I was like, oh, because what I know about Tantra is it's deeper. It's about connecting on a deeper level. And immediately I was like, I'm going. I'm excited. Let's do this. So I didn't really know what to expect, and they were very communicative. So several emails went out like, here's what to expect. And I really appreciate that, because one thing that I know teaching a trauma-informed training is the more information you give a person, the more comfortable they feel. So having the emails leading up, giving some information around what to expect was really good. So I'll make this as fast as possible while also respecting the people that attended, like their privacy. So I'm only talking about my experience. This is not about anyone else's experience, to respect their privacy. But for me, it was very cathartic. So if you're someone who you are uncomfortable with touch, may not be the event for you, but there were hugs and embraces and massages, like little mini massages, but consent with everything. And that's the thing that I really liked. You can say no. You can say, I'm not comfortable with this, or I choose not to do this. There was consent with everything. So basically, the women were in a circle, the men were in an outer circle, and then the woman would pair up with a man, and then the women would rotate. So she had a chance to interact with every man that was there. And each segment was probably 60 seconds, 60 90 seconds. The longest segment was 3 minutes, I think. So they were pretty quick little segments where there were different exercises. So sharing something vulnerable, and so it started out with like more verbal things, like I'm going to share things that I'm grateful for. I'm going to share what I want to release. I'm going to share what I want to call in. And so it was guided, which is really good. If someone is like, I don't really know what to say, it was guided. So it helped you connect on a deeper level with guidance. And I think that some people will really appreciate that. And then when we're kind of like warmed up, then there was a little bit of touching, like a hug, but consent for everything. Like you have full autonomy and sovereignty in this situation if you don't want to be touched. Now, there were a couple of men that didn't show up because I did see that the men's like they try to balance it out to make sure it's equal men and women, and a few men didn't show up. So we had two extra women that didn't have a male partner, and so they had the option to still do the exercise but with a woman. And I'm sharing this for me because this was like an unexpected like little bonus that was in there. So there was this one where you had to like give a hug, right? And I'm like, I love hugs. Like, yeah, like let's do it. Can I give you a hug? So consent with everything, which I loved, and I hugged this woman. And what I was thinking of in my head is, I have a sister and mother wound, and I've distanced myself from some female friends. So like that sister wound feels really heavy, and I've witnessed some women just being really catty and hateful towards each other. So I took it as an opportunity to just like embrace that sisterhood, embrace the healing of the feminine. And I do believe feminine energy, we're stronger together. We're so powerful when we come together. But society has programmed that out of us. That internalized misogyny is a real thing. And I just took that moment as an opportunity to nurture the part of me that has that sister wound, that's hurt, that I don't have a better relationship with my sister, that I don't have better female friendships. And it was really beautiful. And I got really emotional, which I didn't expect. I think I mentally prepared for the connection with the masculine, that like I didn't expect the connection with the feminine. So that was really beautiful. And obviously, if there were equal parts men to women, that wouldn't have happened. But I think every experience that we're exposed to is what we need for our own healing journey. So I'm really grateful that happened. I believe the event was very well orchestrated. Like every detail, it just flowed really beautifully. And the women get to choose who they connect with. And I like some of the wording that they used, and like the masculine apologizing for any time a man has hurt the woman apologizing to the men for any time the feminine has hurt the men, and the the men making a vow to be in devotion to the divine feminine and like honor the goddess. I'm like, yes, sign me up, which is really funny because in between all of this, I went on a date with a guy and I said something about worshiping, and he got really offended. And I understand people that are deep in their religious belief. Worship is a word used for God or whatever higher being a person would worship. So that can be a word that rubs people the wrong way. I've learned this recently, and I get it because I teach a trauma informed training for sound therapy practitioners where we don't say hit or strike, because someone that has experienced domestic violence, that could be a triggering word. So I'm aware that words have a lot of power, and worship is not a word that everyone feels comfortable with in a dating situation. But I think that I love the idea of the healthy masculine being in devotion to his queen, to his goddess. And I believe when a woman is poured into and respected and she feels sovereign and comfortable in her sovereignty, she's going to radiate a light and a love that is going to help elevate everyone around her. And that's what I believe. And I think that this experience showed me that there are men out there that subscribe to that belief as well. So there are men out there that are misogynist, that just view women as a possession or a conquest, or they're entitled to the woman's body, right? And there's also men out there that want to, and what's another word besides worship we could use? If someone's like, well, I only worship God. You know, worship could rub some people the wrong way. I'm aware of that. So we'll just use devotion. I want to be mindful of people's beliefs and fully respect it. So I love that there are men out there that want to be in full devotion to their woman, to their goddess, to their queen. And I am here for it. And if Tantra Speed Dating is gathering those kind of men, ladies, go to the Tantra Speed Dating in your area, because they're in, I think it said like 20 cities, 60 cities, something like that. It's all over. And they do them once a month here in Tampa Bay. So if I'm still single by the next one, I will be going. Look, men are probably like on the internet, like signing up. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but no, I think it was a really great event and I didn't know what to expect. I will say it's not going to be for everyone. I think you have to be comfortable being in an uncomfortable situation. There's eye gazing. So if eye gazing is uncomfortable for you, there was a lot of hand holding, women holding the women's hand, men holding men's hands. So if you're not comfortable with physical touch, if you're not comfortable with connecting on a deeper level, like I notice if someone couldn't hold that gaze in my eye for too long, and I get giggly, like that's what I do when I'm slightly uncomfortable. I giggle, right? I giggle a lot. I'm a giggly person. So if I'm uncomfortable, I'm giggly. If I'm really comfortable and silly, I'm giggly. Like I'm just a giggly person, but I know that that's my go-to if I'm ever uncomfortable, is to giggle. But again, just because you hear me giggle doesn't mean I'm uncomfortable, because I'm just a giggly person, like, which is really funny because I know how to be like really serious and present, but I think the giggle, it's my cute trauma response. It's a trauma adaptation that I've just learned to like just lighten the mood. You know how like you know how comedians will make a joke in any situation? If things are happy, they make a joke. If things are stressful and tense, they make a joke. I giggle. That's basically my thing. So, anyway, the eye contact can be very uncomfortable for people. Like, the eyes are the gateway to the soul. So, staring directly in someone's eyes that's a complete stranger and just like not breaking that eye contact, that can be incredibly uncomfortable for some people. But I like to put myself in situations that help me expand and grow. You learn a lot about yourself and what makes you shrink, what makes you puff up, what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel held. And this was an experience that I left feeling held. So I'm always holding space for others. So to be able to go into a space and feel held by not just the masculine, but also the feminine, it was very beautiful. Very beautiful. So, Tantra Speed Dating, 10 out of 10. I'm here for it. I would do it again. And you know, I think about dating, and I like to have conversations with people. So I'm very inquisitive. I'm always curious about people's experience. And I know so many people feel like dating apps are why we're having trouble dating. But I don't fully agree with that. I think it's a surface level. But I think the deeper problem is the old paradigms are crumbling. The misogyny is crumbling. The patriarchy is crumbling, and women have more autonomy and sovereignty. And other ways of relating are becoming normalized. So there were mentions of polyamory and platonic cuddling. Like, there are people that want that human connection because we're on dating apps swiping, right? We're on social media and we're not connecting in community. But there are people connecting in community. There are people that are getting together in person, phones away. Like, no one was on their phone. This was a 3-hour event, and no one was on their phone for the full 3 hours. That was beautiful. That's probably why we all left feeling full and recharged, because we weren't distracted by social media. So social media is a beautiful thing. We have the ability to connect with people that we would never connect with outside of social media across the world, right? I have clients in multiple different countries. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. And we're so distracted by it, we're not fully present. So that is one thing that I really loved about this. 3 hours of full presence. No one was on their phone the whole 3 hours. The whole 3 hours. That's amazing. So I believe that we're unlearning some of the harmful programming around misogyny, patriarchy, control, manipulation, fear, and we are learning true connection, true compassion. We're developing our emotional intelligence, and there are people leaning in doing the work. So the people that go to my page and they're like, oh, she's talking about misogyny, she's one of those radical feminists, whatever. They're entitled to make their snap judgment. But what I'm talking about is healthy love. What I'm talking about is getting curious, having compassion, creating that connection, learning healthy conflict resolution, learning that it's not about perfection, it's about presence. Do you feel like people are present with you? Do you feel like people are listening to you? Do you feel like people are truly holding you in all of you? It could be your happy times, it could be your sad times. I've had friends that were great when I was sad, but if I was happy, I felt ambivalence or jealousy. So sometimes having someone to hold space for your happy, joyful moments is just as hard as having someone hold space for your hard moments. I had friends that I could have a blast with, but couldn't talk to about anything serious. So the dynamics of human interaction are delicate and dynamic because there's so many different variations. We're all so different backgrounds, different histories, different nationalities, different desires and preferences, different purposes. What I value may be completely different than what the next person values. So how they show up in a relationship may be completely different than how I show up in a relationship. So we have to get curious and really lean in and learn about people. And I think we're such dynamic beings. We have so much to learn from each other if we can get out of our own way, get curious, play, be giggly, be silly, be sparkly, be whatever it is that you bring to the table. One of the questions that I loved was your superpowers. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a lot of superpowers. Love this question. But, get curious about people and their joys, their desires, their passions, their pleasures, their insecurities, their wounds. I realized, I'm going to say this and then wrap it up, lovers. I realized I went on a date. I unpacked this man's whole entire childhood trauma on one date. I'm like, oh, I understand why people say I'm intense. I understand why people say I'm a lot. I literally have no chill. I have no chill, but I think the right person is going to appreciate that about me. They're going to want to lean into that deep conversations, because the thing about it is, what I feel is, we don't want someone that is around just when we're our vibrant selves. We want someone that we can show our shadows to, and they still look at us like we're beautiful, like we're amazing, like we have superpowers. If a person only wants you when you're at your best, that is a surface level, shallow relationship that will keep you in hypervigilance, keep you walking on eggshells, because if you fear that a person is going to walk away, abandon you, reject you the second you're not perfect, because no one's perfect, right? Like, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present. But if you're ever off and you fear that that person's going to leave or abandon you, you're never going to feel comfortable or feel safe. So we have to be able to show a person our shadows, show a person our insecurities, and that person still reflect back to us that we're beautiful, that we're amazing, that we're lovable. We are lovable, even with all of our imperfections and flaws, even with our quirks, even with our shadows. We're worthy of that kind of love. And so I'm in a space now where I am all of me, and I'm not shrinking to be palatable, or if someone feels like I'm too much, like I'm a lot. I finally accepted it. I am a lot. But I love that about me, and the person that is for me is going to love that about me too. And I think that that is really what the core of healthy love is. It's loving yourself first. Healing's not linear, so it doesn't always happen that way. You love yourself first, then you find the person that loves you. Sometimes a person's journey is finding someone that loves you for who you are, that helps you love yourself more. That could be someone's journey. My journey was learn to love myself first, all of me, all of my allotness. And then I feel like that's when my person's going to be like, give me all of that. Give me all of that. Every single drop. Okay, that's my episode for today. I would love to hear your feedback. Do you know what Tantra is? If you know what Tantra is, tell me your interpretation of it, because I think everyone has a different understanding in their mind of what Tantra is. And if you've never heard of Tantra, tell me that too. So if you can comment wherever you are listening or watching this, or send me a DM on Instagram, I love to hear from you. And until next time, reminding you, don't shrink for the comfort of others, and you are worthy of healthy love. Sexy, healthy love.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Love Healing podcast, where we are reminding you that you are worthy of healthy love. If this podcast resonates, go download the Healthy Love Healing app, available on Google Play and iOS, for more tools to cultivate self-love and healthy connections in your life.